So, I'm part of a group called Neo-Paganism, and VampireFreaks.com. And there's a thread called Oranges, our Origins. Sorry about that. And it was just about how we found our paths, and you know how we've kind of evolved as far as we have so far. As most of you know, I'm 25. Gonna be 26 in February 2013. Yay! Getting closer to 30. But I first heard about witchcraft and Wicca through a friend's parent, her mother, when I was 13. I was nearly 14. And it was when I was 13. I was like 13 and a half, and because I remember it was during the summer, because we lived in the same estate, so like we'd hang out at each other's houses, and we met in school. She was a year ahead of me, like, so she was a little bit older than me, and her mother practiced witchcraft and practiced it with a few other ladies, so she was in a coven of sorts. And I was very interested, so I asked her more about it, and she showed me a few books that she had, and she wouldn't let me take them home, obviously, because she was like, I don't want you doing anything that you are not prepared to do. She said you can read these books while you're here, but you're not allowed to take these books home, because I don't want you trying to do something and not be prepared for the consequences of it. If you do something wrong, then you screw it up, like. And I was like, I understand, like, and so I learned a lot of it through her. We ended up moving to Ballinahalla, which is out in the forests of Galway, and I fell in love with the place because it was just surrounded by trees. It was like freaking Narnia, and I would go climbing in the trees, deep in the forest, find a place to sit and just meditate. And I'd try and get much material, reading material as possible off the internet, which was very slow at the time. God, it was dial-up, like, that's how slow. That's how slow. And I would print it off and print it off and print it off, and I would print off so much paper. I literally would have a stack of paper that big, like, and I'd read it and read it and read it and read it and read it, and keep it, like, and I would print off more and more and more and more. And I knew by the age of 15 that this is the path I wanted to take. And so I sat down, I talked, my parents were in the front room, and I just said, is it okay if can I talk to the two of you for a second? And they literally had this reaction of like, oh my god, she's pregnant, or she's taking drugs, or something else. The worst possible, like, situation ever. And which is quite funny. And I just told them out straight out, and I just said, Mum, Dad, um, I've been doing a lot of research on certain religion, and I just want to let you know that I would like to practice it. And they were like, oh, that's what you want to tell us? And I was like, yeah. And my mum told me recently, she said, we were worried at the time because we didn't understand it, but the more you told us, the more we were like, oh, it's nothing, yeah, whatever. My dad helped me make my first altar. He cut out this huge piece of wood for me and sanded it down, and I would just put it on the floor. I made myself a wand. I carved a pentacle into the altar, Um, I just very simple things like, and I was allowed to burn incense and stuff like that in my room, and even though every time I did, my mum was like, "Are you smoking up there?" And I was like, "No, it's incense, mum." And I had my own candles and all that kind of stuff. And I would just use representations for the elements and the goddess and the god. And I would just meditate. At the time, I used to meditate to music like the Deftones and Nine Inch Nails, stuff like that. I could not imagine myself meditating to that music now, but that's the person that I was back then. And as I got older and older, my path changed. Um, I became more aware, I guess, um, of the energies around me, um, of abilities that I have. I started working with crystals, so I do crystal chakra healings. I also perform Reiki, and I don't think that. But I have changed a lot since back then, and I've gotten in touch with a god and a goddess from two different pantheons, Ganesh and Nyx, and Nyx or Nox, whichever one is big, but a lot has changed for me, and I never thought, I would come this far, but obviously my journey will never stop because there's so much more to learn, there's so much more to experience, and to be honest, I look forward to that. But literally, that's been my kind of path since I was 13 and a half. I didn't hear of Wicca or witchcraft from Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Charmed or um, The Craft. Though I do remember watching The Craft when I was like 10, I think. It scared the Jesus out of me and my friend. But I have to watch that film again. But I didn't watch it and go, "Oh, I want to do that." Like, I just happened to meet the right person, the right parent, the right time in my life, and I bought so many books, and so many, just so many books. I'm a bookworm. I'm a huge, huge bookworm. I really am. Seriously, I really, really am. I have a problem, and that's what I do. I read, I read, I read, I read, read, and to me that's good. Like, it's a good practice to get into is reading. But in the past I was about to say 2 years, 12 years, nearly 13 years, I'm 26 and a half. I I've come a long way, like, I really have, and my practice has changed so much. Even though I do have an elaborate altar, I do realize that you do not need tools. Um, you like the only thing you do need is yourself. Um, that's all you need. You're surrounded by the goddess, the god, and the elements all the time. With the food that you eat, the drinks that you drink, everything that you consume is made up of the elements. And so you're surrounded by all that all the time. which was something I was never aware of when I was a teenager. Because teenagers are usually not aware of things like that. Well, I wasn't when I was a teenager. But, let's see what the next 13 and a half years bring. That'll be interesting.